been a couple weeks, but it's finally ready. Let's take a look at the new Whiskey and Cigar Lounge. All right, folks, well, after a couple weeks of some hard work, well, I mean, if I'm being honest, mostly hard work on the contractors. Those guys were fantastic. This is the second time we used them. We used them for the remodel we did downstairs on our master bathroom and our kitchen, and we used them again for this remodel, and those guys are great. Going into this, they told us a timeline, and they nailed the timeline to the day. So, super grateful for that, because if you guys have ever done renovations, sometimes them damn things can get off track, and being this is my main work area, this going off track for a week or 2 weeks could have really screwed the pooch and pissed you guys off, because I'm already bad enough about taking too long in between videos. When I built this room 3 years ago, I built it mainly as a whiskey/cigar lounge room in my house for me to hang out, drink whiskey, smoke cigars, do all the things that I like doing. Chill out at night, watch a little TV, have a cigar. I didn't account for the fact that I would probably be shooting a lot of videos in here. So that, with the fact that I had a growing whiskey collection that far outgrew the shelving that I had in place for it. And this room over the 3 years turned from something that looked like a very nice whiskey lounge into something that looked like an episode of Hoarders. Gotten pretty bad. We kept a few of the bones the same, the things that really worked well, that I really loved about the room, but we did a whole lot of changing, including ripping out walls and opening things up a little bit. And let's take a quick break right there to thank the sponsor of today's video, Ritual. You know your boy here might talk a lot about whiskey and cigars on the channel, but I also try to encourage health and wellness with some of the sponsors I bring on. And if you're like me and don't always hit that perfect diet every day, Ritual is a great way to fill some of those gaps with 2 capsules a day, providing 10 nutrients to help support a daily foundation for your health. One of my favorite things about Ritual is they offer different options depending on what fits you best. And it's not just a one size fits all kind of situation. They have these guys, the ones I take, the Essential for Men. It has 10 high quality nutrients like vitamin A, D, omega-3, and zinc, which can kind of be hard to get with diet alone. They also offer one for women, 50 plus, prenatal and postnatal, and even a teen version. I also love that Ritual is obsessed about the research and transparency of all the ingredients that go into their products. You can pop right on their site and trace every ingredient to its origin, which is a huge plus for me. And to top it off, everything is non-GMO, vegan-friendly, gluten-free, allergen-free, no added sugar, all the stuff you're looking for. They also put these little mint tabs in here, which makes the vitamins, man, it makes it smell really good. And they look a little bit like something from a science fiction movie, which I strangely appreciate. Don't know why, maybe it's my inner nerd. So if you're interested in filling some of the gaps in your diet, check out the folks at Ritual with the link I'll put in the description below, and make sure to use my code JSires20 and get 20% off your first month of Ritual. Thanks again to the folks at Ritual for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. All right, folks, back to your regularly scheduled programming. We'll start over by the door where you come in, and we'll work our way around, and we'll finish around behind you, which is where the coup de grace, I think it's how you say it, coup de grace? The piece de resistance.
Where's the place where they keep all of the most words?
Ah, fuck it. The good part. We'll finish with the good part, which is the new whiskey wall. But we're not going to start there. Don't get your dessert before you eat your dinner. This TV's been up here since I did the room. 55-inch Samsung, nothing special, just a flat screen TV. Like I said, at night, I like to hang out in here, watch a little Netflix, have a cigar, have a little pour of whiskey. So it gives me something to watch my YouTube on, my Netflix, whatever. Nothing special there. Below, I do have 2 acoustic guitars. I have an Alvarez, which was my father-in-law. He's no longer with us, and that was given to me after he passed away. So that is always a guitar that I cherish. Then I have a Taylor GS Mini. It's kind of like a travel size guitar. It's a great guitar though. It sounds fantastic for its size. It's great for sitting on the couch and playing, or taking somewhere just because of its slightly smaller size. Super comfortable to play. Really good to learn on too, because the frets are a little closer together. You don't have to stretch quite as far and all that good stuff. And before you guys ask, I have 4 guitars in this room total. Yes, I can play guitar. No, I'm not any good. They've tried for years, but I never have put enough effort and time into it to ever really become good. I put them all on display, A, because I love guitars, B, because I hope that if I keep them out, it's like I see them every day and I practice, but I get busy and I don't practice near as much as I should. So I can get by, but it's not always good. One day, hopefully I'll practice enough to actually be good and be able to do some of these guitars and some of these amps justice. Behind me, which is extremely fitting for a cigar room, it is a lamp made from a bottle of Weller Special Reserve. It was given to me by my uncle for a Christmas present. I think he got it in Kentucky at a some kind of farmer's market type thing. There was a guy making them. Anyway, really cool little lamp. Some incense, burn a little incense every now and then so it doesn't stink too bad in here. And one of the old original Sip and Smokes. That was one that me and the guys at Exclusive designed back a couple years ago, and we did a limited run of them. Solid brass. They weigh like 96 pounds. They're gone. They'll never be back. Although I will say we are working on a Sip and Smoke version 2. It's going to be very different than that. Going around, I've got my 2 pictures that have been on the wall since I've made the room because they're like my favorite pictures ever, and I think they embody a cigar room. Jack Nicholson puffing on a cigar, and Winston Churchill. Most baller picture of Winston Churchill ever. He's got the nice suit on, holding a Tommy gun, got a stogie hanging out of his mouth. That's a pimp, P-I-M-P right there, okay? And behind me, I have my 2 tube amps. If you're into electric guitars, you're into stuff like that, you'll probably understand the love of the tube amp, the old school tube amp. They've tried for years to make something better. That technology's been around forever, and to me, there's still nothing quite like a good tube amp. That is a Fender, 40-watt Fender Blues Deluxe Tweed, and over there is a Vox AC-15. Very different sounding amps. Vox has a much more chimey kind, and if you're not in guitars, you don't care about this stuff, but very different sounding amps. Both of them way too loud for this room. It will rattle the windows if I turn them up. And like I said, I wish I could do them justice. Hope that one day I will be able to just crank those things and rattle windows and be proud of the sounds that are coming out of them, because as of right now, it's not always pretty. I do have my amps sitting on a stand that I made for them out of pipe, kind of like the old pipe shelves I used to have up here. And it's on wheels, which is part of something you'll see in this room. A lot of the stuff in this room is on wheels. My couch over here is on wheels. This is on wheels, so that I can very easily move stuff around if I need to for filming purposes. Another thing you'll notice is when you come into this room, there's a couch, there's a table, and there's a very big open area right where I'm sitting. There's plenty of room over here for 2 more chairs. For my purposes, I don't usually have a ton of people up here smoking. It's usually just me and my camera and filming. So having some open space is better for my purposes than having more seating. But if this was a dedicated cigar room and there wasn't filming going on, I probably would have 2 more chairs. Right chunk. Right there, one of my favorite parts of the room from Skull Bliss. Awesome, the carvings, it's in the gold color, which I really think goes with the room well. And it's got a light in it, so like the eyes light up and shit, and it's a cool effect. You have to have skulls. Some kind of animal skulls should be in your cigar/whiskey room if you're a guy, unless you're like into PETA or something. But I don't think too many guys that are into whiskey and cigars are also into PETA, let's be honest. Those guys are into like hemp milkshakes and Birkenstocks.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Moving around to the couch, and I'm telling a big old lie, this isn't even a couch. This is a Chesterfield love seat. A couch would just be too big. The Chesterfield couches, especially with the big arms and stuff, they're usually like 80 to 90 inches long, which is just far too big for this room. So I got a love seat, fits better, gives me some extra space. If you're looking for a Chesterfield couch, which is the style of this couch with the tufts and whatnot, spend the extra money and get a good one. This one is Italian leather, top grain, and it was expensive, but it was well worth it. The stuff I had in here before was not, and after a couple years, the leather was peeling, it was falling apart, it was shit. This thing, the older it gets, the better it looks, and that's kind of what you pay for with like a good leather couch. Is the leather wears in and looks better and patinas over time rather than getting cracked and funky and peely and gross. So spend the money, I know it sucks, spend the money, get a good leather couch. Over behind me, part of my cigar room air cleaning system is the Rabbit air cleaner, which sits over here, and right next to that is my Epiphone Les Paul. No, it is not a Gibson Les Paul. I would love to have a Gibson Les Paul, but like I mentioned, at this point, I don't feel like I need one, although I really want one. Maybe if I earn it and I get good enough to really make that thing sing, I'll spend the money on getting a real Gibson. Right in front of the couch, I have a table that I made out of just a big piece of live edge wood, just one big slab of live edge wood and some legs that I bought, sanded it down, put some oil on it, put the legs on it. Bob's your uncle. Looks really nice and a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a live edge table. You can buy a hunk of live edge wood from Lowe's for like 50 bucks. Throw some legs on it for 30, probably around 100 bucks. You got a pretty damn nice table that would cost you $300 or $400 online. Gives you a nice place to set my ashtray. By the way, ashtray Quattro. Got the ashtray Solo out now. Pretty soon, this is a prototype of the large version of the glass tray. Just shameless plug. Might as well while we're doing this, right? Right on the other side of the couch is my other guitar I have hanging up, which is a Fender Stratocaster. It is a professional too, and it's called Dark Knight. Looking for a Strat? Yes, please. Could I have that? Immediately wrap that thing up. Let's go. Really love that guitar. Again, sounds awesome. I don't do it justice. I'm hoping one day to live up to some of the stuff I have in this room. By the way, a lot of you guys have asked about it a million times. The color of this room is a Home Depot Behr color, and it is called Asphalt. Before we talk about the whiskey wall and all the changes, let's go into the ventilation system real fast. Up in the ceiling on the far side of the room, I have 2 vents that I put in the ceiling. And off of those 2 vents, I have 8-inch ducting. That 8-inch ducting leads into 2 8-inch inline exhaust fans, I think what they're called. I'll link them down below, but they're basically fans that just pull air out. You put a piece of duct on one side, a piece of duct on the other, and it just pulls air. So air pulls out of these 2 vents through these 2 big inline exhaust fans. Then there's another piece of 8-inch ducting that runs off the back of the inline fan through my attic out to the soffits of the house. So it is constantly pulling air out of this room and venting it outside. And they move, I think it's about 740, 750 cubic feet of air per minute. So I have 2 of those, and this room is 11 by 12 with 9-foot ceilings, which if my maths are correct, that means there's about 1,200 cubic feet of air in this room. And being that these fans are moving about 1,500 cubic feet per minute, what? That means the entire air volume in this room is exchanged a little over 1 time a minute. So between that and my rabbit air over here, which is cleaning the air that's in here, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. And then you're probably saying, well, Jeremy, all that air is going out. Where's the air coming in from? That's a good question. There's a big air return in the ceiling, and then up in the attic, there's just a duct that goes right outside the room to the hallway outside of this room, and then there's another big duct. So it's just a return. And it's basically just a jumper. What it allows is for when this is pulling air out of the room, fresh air from inside the house, so that it's air-conditioned air is getting pulled into this room. Fresh air coming in, smoke going out. Let's just start by saying I am not a HVAC guy, but it just turned out that this worked out really well in this room. Sometimes your air return actually goes back to your AC unit. You don't want that because you don't want air flowing, getting pulled out of the room back to your AC. If you don't have your exhaust fans on and you're smoking a cigar in here, could air smoke travel out that into the rest of the house? Yes, it could, which is why you never want to smoke a cigar in here without having your exhaust fans on, because I guarantee you with those exhaust fans on pulling that much air out of this room, there's not a chance there is any smoke going out of that into the house. Matter of fact, when I put the door on this room originally, I put weather sealing around the door to make sure that no smoke could escape. There's such a strong suction in this room because of how much air is going out. I don't even close the door all the way anymore. I usually leave it cracked. I can stand in front of the door, blow it toward the door, and you'll see it go toward the door and then just get sucked back into the room because there's such a volume of air moving out of this room. Hopefully I explained that well. It's kind of tough to explain without me getting up in the attic, and it's Florida and it's already hot here, so the attic's already above 100 degrees, so I'm not getting up in the attic. I'm sorry. You'll just have to imagine. All you guys have been asking for the exhaust information. Hopefully that was a good enough explanation and that helps you guys out. Finally, let's get to the main showpiece of the remodel, which was this wall. If you guys watched the video I did last week where they ripped out the closet that was over here to make room for this 12-foot whiskey shelf, we ran LED lights. But let me give you a couple insights, a couple questions that came up in the last video of my thought process behind, so in case you're putting a whiskey wall in your own house. Spacing the shelves is probably one of the things that you want to think about before you do your shelves, because I wanted to get as many shelves as I could in the height that I have, right? So this is normal, like 36-inch counter height, and then I have 9-foot ceilings. I wanted to get as many shelves as I could while still being able to be as versatile with fitting as many bottles as I could, because some of your tall boys, like your E.H. Taylors, your Penelopes, Kentucky Owls, Redwood Empire, stuff like that, those bottles are like, 13 inches, 13 and a half, something like that. You really need about a 14 and a half inch clearance in order to clear those bottles. In my old shelf that I did, I only had enough clearance for those tall bottles along the bottom, which then when I was trying to organize them by distillery or stuff, it kind of made it difficult. I was stuck only putting tall bottles along the bottom, and then it kind of makes things weird. My bottom 2 shelves both have 14 inches of clearance, so I could put tall bottles along any of the bottom 2 rows. The top 3 have 12 and a half, which accommodates pretty much every other bottle, like your Sagamores, stuff like that. Your normal bottles of Angel's Envy, those still need about 12. So you're gonna have some spots like where you put your Russell Reserves, your Stags, your bottles that are shorter, where you're gonna have some gap, but it gives you the versatility to move bottles around. I was trying to get maximum amount of shelves while still having maximum versatility with being able to move the bottles around as I wish. So I found, long story long, that if you give yourself at least 12.5 and then when you can 14.5 in as many shelves as you can for the taller bottle. Something to think through when you're designing your whiskey shelves or picking a whiskey shelf is the crazy fluctuation in whiskey shelf bottles. And let me tell you something, 2 or 3 inches can be the difference between ooh and ah.
Really? Nothing.
So this is a custom built-in we had made for this area. Then put LEDs, if you want to see that video, like I said, I'll link it before, how I ran those LED strips behind the bottle so I can backlight the bottles. I really like the way like backlighting the bottles looks instead of front lighting them. The other thing when you're planning your shelving, if you're gonna do lighting like the LEDs I did on this, I went with this Armacost system, and I will say I'm super happy with it. It's a lot more kind of, I don't know, I would say like commercial grade LED lighting over some of the stuff I've used in the past, like the cheap just strip kits that you find online. The thing I really liked about this one is the quality seemed to be much better, and it's very modular. They sell the strips, they sell the transformers, they sell the wire, they sell different kinds of dimmers, and have all the pieces and components you could want. It's all super high quality, and you buy what you need for your particular project. Overall, really happy with this Armacost stuff. And I had a couple actually guys that do this kind of stuff for a living comment on the last video, and they said that they use Armacost in all of their projects and they've really enjoyed it and thought it was good stuff. So far really happy. Don't have any long-term data behind how well it's gonna hold up, but thus far super happy. And any project lighting LED type projects I have going forward, I'll be buying this stuff instead of your normal Philips or LifeX or any of that kind of shit. This stuff was just very nice. On this shelf, I have capacity for about 160 to 180 bottles, depending on size of bottles. Just like with height variation, you have a lot of width variation with like stuff wide, like the Long Branch, and the little skinny boys like the E.H. Taylor. So about 160 to 180 bottles. And then down below, I've got some cabinetry with pull-out shelves that are on casters. They roll out, and I could fit another about 200 bottles, total storage of around 400 bottles in this area. I kind of decided once I get past the 400 mark and I'm back to needing more space, at that point I need to triage. I need to give some bottles away. I need to do something. I can't turn my entire house into a whiskey warehouse. I don't need more than 400 bottles in my collection. 400 bottles is all your boy is going to store. The countertop we used is actually another one that if you're trying to build something I found. I don't know if you guys have a Floor and Decor in your area. That is a walnut butcher block countertop on Floor and Decor's website. I think it was like $600 or $700 for a 12-foot walnut butcher block, which I thought was dope. Put a little bit of linseed oil on it. Looks awesome. I love it. Extremely happy with it. And I actually kind of like the look and feel of a wood top over granite or marble or something else in a cigar lounge, whiskey lounge kind of area. So super happy with that turned out and saved a ton of money. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was less than $800. And some of the custom options we had looked at were in the thousands. Down below, we did cabinetry. I have a cabinet down here and then a cabinet on this end with pull-out shelves for storage, and then a new humidor, built-in 1500 New Air humidor. Just started using it, so I have not come to all my conclusions on it yet. I do really like the way it looks. I like the way they put lights on every shelf. It is heated and cooled, so it keeps your cigars at temperature. And this, unlike all the other coolador type, little mini refrigerator, humidor type things I've had, this one actually has humidification in it. You add water to a tray down below, you set the humidity, and so far, it's been pretty good. In the past, I've always used Boveda for everything, and I'm a huge fan of Boveda. I'm actually thinking about doing a video coming up on humidifying your cigars, and I always recommend Boveda to people because they're just fantastic. It's no muss, no fuss. You put the packs in there, and it holds humidity exactly with what the pack says. This, I don't trust yet. I'm not saying it's not good, but I've used Boveda for years. It's never failed me. This, I'm curious to see how it holds up and if it keeps the humidity accurate. Thus far, it's been smack on, so we'll see. Supposedly 1,500 cigars. There's no way that thing's holding 1,500 cigars. I think I've got 300-ish, 350, maybe 400 in there right now. I can't remember the exact count of what I got in there right now. I wouldn't want much more than that. I would say 500, 600. Anything over that, it could definitely hold it, but it's gonna be so crowded, you're gonna have to be moving crap around. That I like mine to be where it's good enough that I can see everything and I can easily get to all my stuff. Tucks up under the countertop. It keeps your cigars at temperature, so everything stays happy. They have a nice little comfortable home to sit and be happy and get ready for me to smoke them. Right next to that, I did do one glass front cabinet to keep barware and then have a space to put some of the liquors that aren't whiskey. So I've got some rum, some cognac, stuff like that. I don't really keep a lot of that stuff on hand, so I didn't need a lot of space for it, but I did want a little area for that, and then just a little additional storage space down there. And then next to that, another New Air. You would think this is a damn New Air ad. I promise this is not sponsored by. I paid for both of these out of pocket. They were not given to me. This isn't sponsored, but I have that same New Air refrigerator, Beverage refrigerator that we used on the remodel in our kitchen, and we have one downstairs, and I've been really happy with it. So I got another one for upstairs, and it just keeps all my stuff that I regularly drink. You would think there would be a lot of beer in there. There's not, because I don't really drink a lot of beer. I drink whiskey, waters, and coffee, and lots of root beers and stuff like that, because cream sodas, because I really like drinking cream soda or root beer with cigars. I can keep some nice and cold up here for when I'm having my evening cigar, if I don't want to drink whiskey. And I think that about covers most everything. Hopefully I hit everything. If not, I'm sure we'll do an update at some point. Pretty close to being done, but there's a few little tweaks I still want to make, like putting some lights in here. I'm putting acoustic panels on the ceiling to help with the sound in here for recording. I'm not quite done doing that, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. I'm really digging it. I think it's great. It's a lot more organized. I have a lot more space, moving stuff in and out of here for doing videos and whatnot. A lot more room to move around so I don't feel like I'm in a damn episode of Hoarders. It's really, really good. Looking forward to pumping out a bunch of content in this room and having a lot of whiskey and cigars. We're doing the weekly lives in here and stuff, so really looking forward to it. Think it's gonna be cool. Next project is the room right across the hall. The other part of the whole upstairs of my house is basically my office. The other room over there that you guys haven't seen me shoot it in a while, but I used to shoot some stuff in there. I'm about to redo that. I just put a security door, a metal security door that has these big bolts. We'll go over that in the video. And I'm working with the guys that hold up displays. I'm doing a whole gun wall in that room. And that's gonna be Studio 2. That's also where I edit videos. That's where my computers and stuff like that is. So we got all kinds of product. We got the truck EDC build going on. We just did this build. We got a build we're about to start in that room. Lots of cool shit. Lots of cool changes going on right now. Really excited about all of it. I think it's gonna be cool and help pump out some great content for you guys. As always, let's do our drawing for last week's giveaway. Last week we gave away a glass tray. That's what we were giving away. So let's get our random comment picker and give that bad boy away. All right, and go. And the winner is Jordan Story. Jordan, thank you, my brother, for being a subscriber, for liking the video and commenting. Looking forward to seeing the final product of the whiskey room. Looks amazing so far. Hashtag whiskey room reno, hashtag glass tray, because that was the hashtag for last week. Yes, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it turned out pretty great, if I don't say so myself. We will be sending you out one of the glass trays. I will be reaching out to you in the comment you left below, asking you to send us an email so we can get your information to send it to you. Before we do our next giveaway for next week, watch the scammers. I know you get tired of hearing me say this, but every time I don't say it, there's a bunch of damn scammers in the comments, so I say it to be safe. I will announce the winner live every week. If you get some comments and you didn't hear me say your name, it's a scam. This whole Telegram shit. What can we give away this week? I know what we'll give away in the next video. We'll give away, we don't have any in stock right now, but hopefully by the time I get the next video and everything out there in stock, the Cigar Bible. So you guys know I do a Whiskey Bible, Cigar Bible. Actually, I'll let you pick whether you want a Whiskey or Cigar Bible, whichever one you prefer. So if you want a chance to win a Whiskey or Cigar Bible, rules are as always. You have to be a subscriber to this channel, you have to be a subscriber to my second channel, Jeremy Cyrus After Hours, where we do most of our cigar content. We're also gonna start doing some pew-pew content over there, and we do weekly live streams over there. So definitely go check that out. You have to smash that like button, and then comment down below this week's hashtags. Let's do hashtag Whiskey Room, hashtag Cigar Bible. Next week in the next upload, we will draw a winner and give away a Whiskey or Cigar Bible, depending on what you guys want. I think that about wraps this one up. We covered a lot of ground. This video is probably gonna be 35 damn minutes. I'm really gonna try to cut it down shorter than that, but we'll see. I can't make any promises. There was a lot of shit to go over. As always, I will link everything down below, so if you guys are interested, you're currently building your own cigar lounge or whiskey room, hopefully that will help you out. Feel free to smash that like button, that always helps us out. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. We'd love to have you on board. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week, and we will see you in the next video. Live stream back this week, folks. Wednesday. I don't even know if this damn video is going to be edited out before the live stream. We'll see. Lots of cool stuff coming on the channel, though. Renovation in that room, more of the truck EDC, lots of good shit in the works.